How's it going, everybody? Hi, it's Reaper31 here, and welcome to episode number 19 of the Manager Mode 2.0 series. I've got a special guest with me today to review the first season. You may know him as the manager of QPR at the moment. His name is Matt10L. Matt, welcome once again to another review. How you doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Yes, emphasis on at the moment at QPR.
Well, things have been looking good. You can go check out his manager mode on his channel. He's doing pretty well this season. He's just getting into it about midway through the season, I think, about now. What are you, November?
Yeah, just about. Yeah,
Okay.
we're just about to hit end of December. Got a couple matches left, and then we'll be in January transfer window.
All right. So season 1 with Ted Lasso is wrapped up, and I'd probably say it went pretty successful. What were your initial thoughts of the season?
You know, whenever you hear the name Ted Lasso, you think, okay, this could last maybe a second, maybe a couple of months, for anybody to realize what if he knows what he's doing or not. And so, definitely very impressed. I will say that. I think the switch to the formation in the middle of the season was real key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're talking about the 4-3-3.
Yes.
Eventually, we did have to abandon it though due to injuries, but
Naturally.
we'll with the Osadembe injury, he just came back from that toe injury a little too late. But yeah, we were making a strong push there for that playoff spot. Saved it until the final episode, but we just didn't have enough gas in the tank to get it across the line. But all in all, considering we were predicted to be 16th at the start of the year, yeah. I'm pretty pleased with where we ended up. We'll go look at that here in a little bit. But first, let's go over some awards, because Newport County got some awards this season. And the final month of the season went to Day for Player of the Month. Just what can you say about the keeper? He just was a man amongst boys in League Two.
Amazing player.
Yeah, we'll take a look at his stats later. Day, we're going to talk about him he's going to be kind of the focal point of this episode, I think. We got a lot to talk about with Mr. Day. But also, Joe Day was awarded League Two Goalkeeper of the Year. And what can you say? He led it in clean sheets, and pretty much the whole season was just a solid number one. I have nothing but respect for Joe Day, just amazing player. And also, he was League Two Player of the Year throughout the league, best player in the league, and I would agree with that statement. He kept us in it. A lot of games, a lot of those close 1-0 victories or tight affairs. He kept us in that mid-table for pretty much the entire year, especially early on when we weren't scoring very much. He helped secure that defense, even though at times we were a bit shaky. But yeah,
that's pretty incredible testament of a goalkeeper winning Player of the Year versus the guys who scored the goals. So that's really impressive.
So obviously, Ruben Reed ended up being the top goal scorer with 19 goals in the league, followed by Blanta. Actually, we cracked the top 10 with Scott Bowden. In the second half of the season, he really turned on the goal scoring and scored quite a few goals. Had a couple.
Nice.
He had that one game, I believe it was against Crawley Town, where he got a first half hat trick and some amazing goals. He was considered to be my number 3 striker, and nothing spectacular, but he kept finding a way to get those goals in tight spaces, and had some amazing goals as well. But he was the only top goal scorer we had in the top 25. But solid year for him. Really impressed with him, considering we needed the goal scoring. Came at a good time.
He's definitely a fox in the box.
In the box.
Yeah, I mean, he can definitely be there at just the right place, right time. He's almost like a Jermaine Defoe. Obviously, completely different stature and everything, but he was definitely one of those players who just found himself on the end of the ball and just took his own chances. So yeah, I was impressed by Bowden.
The top assist man for League Two was Evans out of Portsmouth. He had 10 assists. Actually, our best assist man was Mr. Alito, the left midfielder. Got 7 assists on the season. Very potent player. He didn't score a lot of goals for me this season down the wing, but since I'm known for mostly my wing play, my wingers like to score most of the goals. But this season he was doing whipping a lot of nice balls in, just finding players in and out of the wing, and did a great job.
That manual crossing, the Reapers got it down to a science.
Yeah, there is a trick to it, that's for sure. But yeah, solid year for Lito. It's glad to see we got somebody in the assist column as well. And now we'll take a look at the goalkeepers. Obviously, the player of the year, Day, leading the clean sheets with 18 on the year in the league. McCormick and Slocum from Oxford and Plymouth, they kept it clear. They closed the gap a little bit, but Joe Day, man, just solid results. Probably a lot of them were like 0-0s or 1-0 clean sheets, but they all count. So that's why he was named Player of the Year.
Wow.
And we won't go over yellow cards and red cards because I did find out in this gameplay mod I'm using, it doesn't count. It doesn't auto sim other people's yellows and reds just for the games I played. So it's all predominantly my yellows and reds that happened through the season, and I was all over it. Let's quickly look at the table. A little disappointing we couldn't get that playoff spot. Just the injuries, Dosa Dembe really kind of halted our progress there to Pip. If he would have stayed in, I would have probably been really comfortable to maybe snag one of those last two spots. We played really well at some points, but we did lose to a lot of teams below us there late in the year, which really was kind of a...
That top 10... it's so close. A couple of points, separating. You get, like you said, you get 2 tied matches instead of 2 losses, and you're right there, outside looking in, number 8. So really, I think you hit that benchmark of getting to 60 points on a season. That's probably the part that impressed me most about Ted Lasso hitting that mark. After us, his public record that we know of, and so seeing that, it's pretty incredible.
Yep. So we ended at 17 wins, 13 draws, and 16 losses. 46 goals for, which is on the lower half of the league. But we did have one of the better defensive efforts. We were near the top in goals against at 45. So we did get the positive goal scoring, goal difference. But for a while there, it was looking a little shady. We were in the negative forever until about mid-season where we really started turning it on a little bit there. Obviously, Notts County won the league pretty convincingly. They were a force to be reckoned with this season. Portsmouth and Plymouth Argyle go up as well. And we also have a playoffs, which we'll cover here in just a moment, between Oxford, Northampton, Leyton Orient, and York City. Stevenage obviously dropped out there the last few weeks of the season, just didn't have enough momentum to keep going. But yeah, disappointed to be 11th, but not terrible, I would say. And we'll quickly scroll through the other cup competitions so you guys can be informed of what's gone on in England in the domestic competitions this season. So first up, we have the FA Cup, which was won by Manchester United against Chelsea. Very top 4 was all Premier League sides. Crystal Palace got to the top 4 along with my beloved Everton. Nice to see them in the running as well this season.
Crazy to see Crystal Palace up there.
All right. Capital One Cup went to Man City over Norwich. I think they won it this season, didn't they? I believe. Yeah, so that's true to form. No big surprises there. Norwich making a run was not bad. I see some League Two teams made it to the round of 16, like Luton Town, Exeter. I believe those are in Cambridge. There's 3 League Two sides in the round of 16 for the Capital One Cup, so that was very nice.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, Paint Trophy between Sheffield United and Northampton, who are League Two. They got to the finals, but it was Sheffield United who were the victors there.
Good club. Yeah, Sheffield
good
United.
Club. They are Championship or League One, I can't remember. I think they're
Sheffield, League One.
League One. So good result for those guys. Yeah, we did not do well in the competition. We got knocked out every first match we did. We had some epic matches, but yeah, just I believe one of those was the dreaded Akinfenwa header that beat us. All right, take a look at the League Two playoffs to see who advances. Who's going to be the last team to go up, and it will be Northampton defeating Oxford 2-1 in the final there. So, I mean, Northampton, remember, we whipped them pretty good in our final matchup against them. I believe it was 3-0.
It's funny that both games before that were 4-3 for score lines.
Yeah, very, very high scoring games, and then the final was a very defensive effort. And then the Champions League, Man United have won the double this season, taking the Champions League final over Barcelona. As you see, it was an all-Manchester semi-final, and then the other semi, it was an all-Spanish La Liga final between Barcelona and Atletico. Well, what a competition that was, and Man United walk away. Could they have won the treble this season? I don't know for sure. I'd have to look at their standings. I believe Chelsea won the Premier League this season, if I remember looking back. But solid year for Man United, winning 2 competitions. Louis van Gaal must be pretty stoked.
Yeah.
But
that's crazy.
Not too big a shocker. Maybe Real Madrid getting bounced by Atletico there was probably the biggest shock. And maybe Bayern losing to Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the Europa League final, which saw Spurs, those crafty Spurs and Harry Kane, blank out Monaco 3-0 in their final. They beat Marseille in the semis, and then Monaco knocked out Liverpool, so Liverpool almost got into the Europa League. Really nothing really crazy to know except my team Lazio got knocked out. My Italian favorites, they got knocked out by Napoli in a tough fixture.
Mm-hmm.
And then right now, as we're standing right now, the Euros are the group stages are just getting wrapped up. We'll cover them here as we sim up to the next season to find out who's into the knockout rounds there. Take a look at the objectives. Now remember, since the rules of this series, Ted Lasso started as a 1-star manager. He has to complete objectives to get better scouts, better training, all around. So we completed our objective for the finishing the mid-table. So since we completed a primary objective, we get 1 star. We didn't get any domestic cup achievements this season.
Mm-hmm.
So Ted's now a 2-star manager.
Woohoo.
So that means for next season, I can get an additional GTN scout. So now I can have 2. And I have no limit to how many stars they have, because I can spend however much money I have in the wage for that, just to help with training. I'm still limited to 1 scout, and I'm also still limited to bronze training only for my training players. So I'm pretty happy. We actually completed objective, unlike the first series where I got booted right at Christmas Eve. And that was pretty much the big difference between this Series 2.0 and Series 1 was it was a lot more fair this time. We still had great action, and it wasn't the frustration that I felt in Season 1 with vanilla FIFA that everyone seems to find with once in a while.
And you weren't slider testing the whole time, which helps.
Yeah, it does help. But considering we did this series, I want to say we started Series 2 in January, so we got through it pretty quickly. Not terrible. But all in all, good result for us. I now want to jump into some questions. So, Matt, if you've got any questions you have about the squad or in general, feel free to ask.
My big question about the squad. So because I'm definitely a formation guy, and I like that 4-3-3.
Mm-hmm.
You've got let's see the squad here.
Okay.
So you've got what's his name, Harrison up top.
Harrison's up top right now, yes.
And is Bowden going to remain there with him? And how are you playing going forward? You've got a 4-4-2 in the way it's right now, but are you going to go back to the 4-3-3?
I think I'm going to try to get the 4-3-3 working again.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we're going to have to add some additions to the midfield because midfield depth is a bit of concern right now.
I was going to say that. I see Owen Evans. I mean, he's
this is from
player.
The last match. I haven't updated it yet, but ideally, we want Harrison up top. We got the 2 wingers, Leetone Rodman as of right now, and then we would have the midfield of Osadembe Byrne and Yan the Man, and then the back line would be the same between Suamzi Hughes, another center back, and Holmes, and obviously Day and Net as it stands now.
What's the number one priority for personnel?
Well, let's talk about who's staying, who's going, because we do have a couple of guys leaving. I forgot to mention at the top, but
nice.
Taking a look, I've used up my wage budget. It's completely used up now for re-signing players for the next season. I had 5 players' contracts coming up at the end of the year, and so I'm tapped out. There's no more money I could spend for wages. So unfortunately, 2 players are going to get cut, and it is my older center back Matt Taylor, who's going to be gone. I was looking to just let him go at the end of the season anyway, because he is dropping quite severely.
Sure.
He was up to a 63, but he's fallen back down to a 62, so he didn't grow much. But his physical and mental are dropping pretty rapidly. So he's 34 now, so he's not gonna stick around much longer. I just can't justify giving him a first-team contract for more money for a year when I've got younger guys coming up, and also I have the Leyton Orient center back SAM coming in on a pre-contract starting next season. So somebody's going to have to get dropped, and it's unfortunately going to be Taylor. He did pretty well towards the end of the year, so I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, he didn't play like he was 34. But
yeah,
I mean,
at times, I think at the beginning of the year he struggled a lot, and I was really frustrated with him.
Yeah, he got out of position a couple of times that I've noticed. But yeah, I think that's a pretty sound one.
And obviously, and then the next player that's going to get cut is actually going to be a youngster. It's going to be Mr. David Jones, the left midfielder, who played quite a bit of minutes for being a future team player because of our depth problems. Played 17 matches and got 3 goals out of all competitions. I wanted to keep him, but unfortunately he wanted a bigger role in the club, and unfortunately Ted could not get him the minutes he wants because we have a lot of youth players in the wide positions coming up here that are really, really more highly overrated than they are.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I just couldn't get a deal sorted out with Jones. He's going to be leaving the club. Maybe hopefully try to bring him back. Maybe if we get some more funds. But as of right now, I just don't have room for him in the squad with what we got.
Yeah.
It's a shame, really. I was really hoping to keep him. Some players we did re-sign were the backup keeper Taylor, for obvious reasons because of the day situation, which we'll go in a little bit more depth here in a little bit. But to address your question, other concerns, obviously I think our biggest area we need to focus on is midfield because Yan the Man is getting old, and he's 29 now, so. And his physicals are dropping right now. So it's only a matter of time before he's going to fall off as well.
So when you look at, you say you're going to look at midfield, are you going to be looking for, typical FIFA? I know this isn't you, but are you going to be looking super young and super talented, or are you going to be looking at experienced and semi-talented, been around the block a couple times?
I'm probably going to lean more towards youth because I want to kind of get a nice young core of players in the system. We'll look at. I've got a couple of midfielders in the academy that are going to be pretty promising players, and I'm going to take a look at that here in a little bit on some more. I have some.
I'll be honest, I never look at your youth academy. Anytime I see you,
I usually just show it during the live stream. I really don't talk about it too much because
right. I usually don't watch the.
But with
the
Yan, he does feel threatened by these younger guys coming in. I wouldn't be opposed to getting a more seasoned player. I could be looking to get a player on loan for a midfield player like we had for O'Sullivan when he was in the squad. But try to get him for a year.
Scored a couple goals for you.
He scored a couple cracker goals. Yeah. I need some more depth there for sure. We've got 3 first-team players, but I just don't see. I'm going to try to offload Yan because I just don't see him lasting too much longer, and his contract's up this next season, so it'd be a good time for him to find greener pastures if possible.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go over to Mr. Von Gills on my YouTube channel. He posted a question. Did you update the sliders during the season, or did you start 2.0 with finished ones? And he also wants to know how the youth squad looks. Now, to answer the question about the sliders, they're kind of a hybrid, I would say, because I'm using a different gameplay mod, using the Fidel's gameplay mod. It dramatically kind of changes the game to FIFA based on vanilla. Although most of my sliders that I'm using are based on the final set we've developed at Operation Sports. Just some of the pace, the acceleration and speed, and the ball speed and that stuff. I was kind of hindered based on the gameplay mod because it changes the physics of the game. So I kind of had to develop those at the start. But I did get pretty fortunate and found a good balance. Right. I mean, it took a few weeks of testing in between season 1 and season 2, or series 1 and series 2. To find that good balance, and I think we hit the mark pretty well with what we had. It's not 100% what Matt's got finalized on the Operation Sports, but it's pretty close, especially with line settings and stuff like that.
Right.
It's really similar.
It is.
Although I was pretty happy with how the gameplay came out. I didn't feel really cheated because I know my gripe with vanilla FIFA was just the boost that the AI get, especially if they're down a goal, they'll just turn on the wick and just not make any mistakes, and it just felt like so forced and automated that they're gonna score eventually and they're just gonna beat you. So it's a bit unfair in that sense. So I mean, the gameplay mod did a good job. We had quite a variety of goals. Quite a variety of matches that went different ways. Sometimes I would get whooped, and the next time I might kill them in a match. We've had a lot of close matches. Everything was exciting, though. And then we got some bad calls left and right to end the year. But
how many? Yeah, exactly. There were a lot bad calls in that last match.
Here we go. We're going to look at the Youth Academy. This is what I got so far. Right now, I actually did a little bit more in-depth scouting. I went to regions. But first off, I want to plug FIFA Scouting Tips. They do a very good job of giving you in-depth analysis on how to use the Youth Academy. And I kind of took those principles and applied it to this season. Before, I think in Series 1, I just limited to, I have to stay in England, and I can get English players. But I kind of broadened the scope up for Series 2 just to see what quality of players I could get. And, we got Diego Nieto. He was a midfielder we found in Argentina, technically gifted, 51 overall. He's still got a little more training to do before he can get up there. He's still quite a ways down on the depth chart, but he's a very promising, probably going to be a low 80 potential player. I know I'll probably be jumping ahead of Matt here as I'll go, but I'll try to keep it slow. We got the next guy I just found in Italy. His name is Mario Guerrieri. I can't even say his last name. Guerrieri. Mini Mario is what I'm calling him right now. He's 16. We just found him there in the last month of the season. He's 54 rated as a cam.
Wow.
And he's going to be in the low to mid 80s, probably potential. He's a playmaker in the midfield. I think that is a very key area for us in the midfield. I really don't have a solid playmaker, with the exception of maybe Burn. He looks to be very good.
Yeah, he would be a good one. Wow.
Yeah, very good. Very fortunate to signing. And typically when I look for players, I tend to look at age. How old are they? If they're 15 or under, I'm looking for 45 and overall and up. If they're 16, I'm looking for 50 overall and up. And then if they're 17, 55 and up. That's generally kind of my rule of thumb. And then they got to have a decent potential as well. Now the next guy is going to be kind of my, I would say, the player the real gem I found this season. He was the first player I signed out of Brazil in the youth academy. I found his name's Rodao Kuha. He's a right midfielder with a 62 overall right now. We've been training him pretty much all season. He's up to 62 now. And that kind of puts him as one of my best players right now. But he just turned 16 a couple months ago. He's going to be signed up here starting season 2. I mean, he's ready now. He's not the tallest guy, but he is quick, very good ball control down the wing.
62. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been training him. I think we got him in the mid 40s, I think, or I'd say high 40s, low 50 when we signed him. We've just been training him with bronze training, and he has grown phenomenally. Technically good player. And that is one area we didn't have any right wingers on the side. I was having left wingers play on the right side all season, so it'd be good to have a solid right winger. He's going to be called up to the first team here starting next season. Like I said, a gem for us. He was definitely by far the best player we've signed so far in the academy.
Yeah, that's incredible. He could start. Pretty small guy, 5'1", though. I mean, obviously he's not ready, but still.
Well, he's Brazilian, so he's going to have the technical aspect of the game, which would be nice with technical wingers. So if you have pace on the wings, that's going to be key for me. Right. Add more depth of pace. The next guy, I got another Brazilian. He's a left winger. He's Rui Faria. Not as highly rated as Kuha, and his potential's going to be low 70s. He's not going to be that promising player, but he's still going to be very good for Newport County in the future. 54 rated right now. I believe he was the second player I signed, and he's solid. But I'm kind of on the fence with him since he's not going to be an outstanding player compared to all the other youth players, but still very serviceable, even though he's only 5'3" at 16, so it's not ideal. And we'll jump over to the last guy in the academy here. His name's gonna be Xavier Aragola. He's 16. He's a Spanish right winger. He's actually a winger type. Not as polished as Kuha as far as his technical stuff, but good. And obviously he's only 5'1". Again, we're going for these short, small guys that are technically good on the ball. But he's going to have a good potential, and his overall's at 57 now, so it's not bad. Not bad. He can crack the rotation, potentially. And obviously I do need right midfielders in this side, so he could be definitely a support player to Kuha if I need to. But, yeah, we could be seeing some 16-year-olds crack the starting lineup here next season.
Wow.
But that's going to be kind of the general idea of how the youth squad's looking. I think in finishing up Italy. I think next we're going to Portugal, and then we're going to spend probably most of the next season in kind of Central Europe area like Germany and stuff looking for players. I kind of want to do it where this is how I generally do it. I'm going to scout all the major regions that have the best talent first. I'm only allowed to go there once for 3 months, and then I jump on to the next one. Just try to find specific players that region produces, because each region produces a different type of player more frequently than the others.
Right.
Yeah, we found a lot of midfielders. It's pretty much all midfielders. I haven't found a striker yet, although I've been looking. I just haven't been able to find a decent one yet.
Yeah.
But it's come up pretty well. I think we found some really good quality in the academy as well this season. So Joseph Dungy's question. He said, keep the at all cost. Still think you could use another midfielder. I tend to agree. And I don't know if you're doing off-season practicing, but I would drill the backliners as possible. With the training, I generally focus on the academy players first. They're my first priority because they're not getting any playing time, and I need them to grow as quickly as possible. And then just players that are not getting any minutes. They're not on the first or second team on my squad currently, just to get their stats up as well. Those are the kind of areas I like to tend to focus on the youth, just to help them grow. Okay, Bird's got a question. Any upgrades planned for the scouts? Did win the cup at the beginning of the year, and that should allow you to get new scouts start next season. Yeah. in order for me to get a new scout, I have to have I needed to win reach my domestic cup objective. I think I can get an additional scout starting at Ted's at 2.5 stars, and right now he's just at 2, so he's just short of that objective. I can upgrade. I have no limit to when if I can upgrade scouts, and I think I have a pretty decent scout up there now in my youth academy. Yeah, Leo Samuel from Finland. He's 3-star experience, 3-star judgment. Actually, really pretty good quality for the side we have. I probably can't afford to upgrade that, so I'll probably just look to upgrade a new once Ted gets another half-star objective complete. And yeah, the preseason tournament doesn't really count towards the domestic because we won that in Sweden. That's not in England, so we'll just stay along with that lines of that. I mean, the objectives we showed we didn't complete it, so we didn't get that star. But yeah, that's I think that's all the questions I had. If anybody else has any other questions, feel free to chime in at any time. I'll be glad to answer them. But that is in a nutshell of what we got going on with the manager mode squad. Like I said, areas I would like to think we could probably get another midfielder. I'm probably gonna look more towards getting some more loan players just for depth. I think I need some depth players because I do have a lot of future team players kind of playing on that second team, which, you know, they've stepped up beautifully, but I really could use like a little more seasoned players in the loans. So we'll look to see what they have, what we can get our hands on at the start of season 2. Obviously, I'm going to look to offload some players as well because I do have some older players, like Yan the Man is probably going to go. I think I've got, if I recall, how many players I have coming up for contract this season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 10 players' contracts coming up at the end of next season. And some of them are probably going to go because they're going to start dropping pretty soon. But just a quick note, Joe Day's contract's up next season. Holmes, our captain for the whole last season, his contract's up. John Lewis's contract's up. Alito Rodman, Yan the Man, Ralph, Collins, our young striker, Redman, who's a future player in our future young player, and Shepard, who actually had a wonderful goal, if you recall, for that long ranger he had.
Oh, right, yeah.
But that's the contracts coming up. I'm just going to kind of wait and see what offers I get. Talking about Joe Day. Now, Joe Day wants the money he wants for next season. He wants at least $2,000 wage a week. And that's a lot of money. Now, I will get some more money going for next season here. I mean, we could skim ahead here while we're waiting and just talk about Day in general. I think the problem with Day is he's kind of grown bigger than where the club is at right now with how well he's played. I mean, he's the MVP of the league too. Right. Now, he's going to get some offers, and I think it would be wise for Ted to listen to those offers. And if we can get a big return on him to really strengthen the squad. Does that hurt us at goalkeeper? Kind of, yes. But we do have Taylor locked up for a couple more years now because his contract was up this season. We did re-sign him, and he wants first-team time anyway. So if Day goes, we do have a starter in place. The only problem is we just don't have any other goalkeeper. We only have those two. But I think it'd be wise for Ted to consider the offers that come in for Mr. Day. And just be realistic. I mean, if you're the League 2 MVP, would you want to take the money elsewhere? If, League 1 or Championship side wants you, then bad enough, then why not? I don't know what your thoughts are on it. I know a lot of people. I would love to keep him, but I just don't think the wages.
It's it's similar to just I mean, look at Aston Villa and Benteke, for example. He's a player that in his prime, everybody wanted him from Villa because he was scoring, he's formidable, and everything else, and then of course, his sophomore season, he slumps, and then he gets picked up from Liverpool still. So his stock continued to rise, and same with Day here. Had an incredible season. He's in League Two, He's definitely wanting to move in. He's been in the league for a minute, so whatever offers come in. I mean, yeah, it sounds like. I mean, it's the tough part for Teddy here is just going to figure out what is that number, what is he worth, and what can I get out of him, and how do I know that that's the absolute offer to take? Because there may be higher suitors out there.
I mean, he got some offers there right as January opened, and I told him no, I don't want to look to get rid of him now. He's still got another year on a contract, and I'm looking just to get rid of players when they're in the last year of their deal anyway, because I get a good gauge of what they want. I mean, obviously Taylor's now making more money than Day is right at this moment as far as wages go, but it was either I lose both of them or keep both of them, or try to keep both of them, or try to keep one of them. So I think we went a good route re-signing Taylor, because Taylor as a backup played pretty dang well. He was on form, I think overall rating, or his match rating, was a little bit higher than Day's, even though he played less matches. He played all the cups, and I think he's very serviceable. He's not Day. I'm not going to make that illusion, but it's got to be realistic about this. I think we can get a lone player in and goalkeeper as well, just to back up Taylor and get some minutes, find some young keeper, because that is an area we do want to find a young keeper for depth purposes. And I think just overall in general, I think we just need to look for more depth in positions like fullback could be an area where I find another lone player. I had Shepard there for a little bit, but I cut him just before the season ended. Didn't cost me any money to do it, so that worked out pretty nice. Center backs, I think we're solid with SCM coming in. I'll have 2 starters and then 2 solid young guys in the backup roles. Midfield, Yan's probably going to go. So I really would like either my academy players, if they're ready to come up, we'll wait and see. We'll keep training them and keep them down there for now. And maybe just bring in a lone player possibly. The wide midfield, we got the youngster Kuha coming up. He's going to be a first-team player right out the gate. Elito and Rodman. I may look to get rid of one of those players if an offer comes for him. I'd prefer to keep Elito because he's been very serviceable, and I think Rodman's he's going to be dropping here pretty soon as well. As far as strikers go, Harrison's locked up. He's good. He's going to be
solid striker.
Solid for us. A little disappointed with Harrison. He didn't really wow me like I thought he would.
Yeah. You can see he's got some.
But he's still getting accustomed to the system. The hometown boy from Newport.
Yep. Exactly.
John Lewis's contract is up, and that might be, if I get an offer for him, I'll have to look into it. I wouldn't be opposed for him going, because we do have 3 first-team strikers right now. And right now, Harrison's not going anywhere, and Bowden's not going anywhere. They're both locked up for quite a while till 2020. So
nice.
It might be beneficial for me to get rid of John Lewis to find maybe a younger striker, along with Collins as well, just to add more depth with younger strikers. So we still got a little room to work with here. We haven't seen the review. We'll probably see it at the end. Let's simulate into season 2 here. Super season.
Good season.
Yes, we didn't get fired. League 2 where I didn't get fired.
For us, that's always huge.
So, yeah, pretty much the board agrees with Ted and what we've been saying here. Hello, Mr. Lasso. Before the season started, the club set a target for you to finish mid-table. Congratulations on fulfilling what was expected of you. It's been a good season for the football club. This makes us very confident that you are the man to lead this club forward. And I would agree. One thing I did want to talk about, depending on what the objectives are for next season, if they're the same, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to try to put an offer for more money, transfer money, and up the difficulty, just to keep it fresh, because we don't want to keep mid-table objectives. We want to keep growing.
What do you mean by the difficulty?
Move up the objectives from mid-table to
Uh-huh.
reaching the playoffs.
Okay.
Because I think
thought you
we're
were going
there.
for world class to legendary. I'm like,
no, not gameplay difficulty. The board difficulty set.
Yes.
I think that would be beneficial. Hopefully you guys agree, because it'd be kind of weak if I got another mid-table objective saying, "Oh, we just want you to finish mid-table again in round of 32." We'll just up it up. Say, like, if we do get the same objectives next season, which we'll find out here in a moment when I sim. We'll go ahead and put in an offer. Just say, hey, let's just give us more money. Give us as much money as you can. We'll try to reach the playoffs and get further in the cups. I think that's fair enough.
Yep, I agree.
Well, maybe we'll keep the cup objective because we didn't complete it. So
maybe get through the first round before you start.
See if we can reach the round of 32 in the cup competition first. I think that's what we'll do from here on forward. Is if I complete the objective, I have to go to the next step up on the objective list.
That's a great
in order to continue.
House rule. Yep.
Yeah. Full of little house rules on this series. Gotta stick with the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as the next season is getting generated here, we'll just go through our closing thoughts of what we thought. It's been a damn good season. It's been fun. This has probably been, I think when we said it best when I started this gameplay mod, is it felt like FIFA 14 gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And had such great variety. Can you recall what was your favorite goal of the season, or who stood out for you?
Bowden's first half hat trick was probably the most significant for me. Just because it was like you needed that guy the whole time, and he had shown up a couple of times, but then just like that, just be on point. And me knowing that you're also using manual everything, it's like, okay, these are pretty remarkable goals that are being scored. So that was pretty memorable to me. And I forget who you were playing against, but it was that one where you scored and basically to tie it up, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember how that finished up or who scored it, but it was intense. I mean, there are a couple of matches there.
Was it the Harrison goal, I think?
It might have been the Harrison goal.
Because we were getting beat down, and then we pipped one really late.
Yes, it went over the top, I believe, or something like that. He controlled it, and But those two were pretty significant. I mean, also just some subtle things like just defensive positioning. Seeing me, I was a big Sully fan before he was moved on. But of course, Sully doing his thing was pretty significant for that. But then also, Day just made some pretty absolutely mind-blowing saves. His reactions were crazy. So anytime he was in the squad, was always exciting to watch. But I would say that the one that stuck out the most was that hat trick by Bowden. That's hard enough to do it, from in league, from any league, but let alone in League 2 where the defense is pretty decent and pretty rough. And then, of course, your struggles in the past with sliders and all that stuff. It seemed like it all came together to have some variety. It wasn't just another 1-0, 0-0 match. It was 3-0 by halftime. It was crazy. So that's what stood out.
For me, we scored some good goals. I mean, I think the last goal we scored with Holmes there in the last episode, a little layoff free kick that we gave that he looped over the keeper was actually pretty incredible. But honestly, I felt this season the AI had better goals than I did this season. They scored some absolute screamers, and I think you'll agree when I say this. The one that probably you just stood there and looked at it, and you just kind of looked a little dumbfounded, was against Yeovil Town when they crossed it in, and the guy was sitting at the near post, and he flicked it up over Taylor, I believe was in net, his head, and it went to the far post for a really tight angle. Remember that one?
That was crazy. I mean, you're right. They had some pretty amazing goals. That was one that was ridiculous.
But, I mean, they had some screamers from outside the box, but I would say Day probably saved more of those crazy chances than, and that's why he was the MVP of the league. But I mean, there wasn't. I think when we picked up, Yeah, I mean, when we had Sully, when we started the year, we had some lone players, and they played okay. We were struggling first part of the year, early part of the season. Sully definitely stepped up nicely. It was a shame I couldn't keep him, but he had to go. His deal was up, so he had to go. We couldn't renew it, and
Right.
bringing in Nosa Dembe was huge, and then he getting injured there with a broken toe late in the year was
Jeez.
devastating.
Mhm.
Really, like I said, we went to that 4-3-3 formation. We just kind of came alive. We were just very active. We were in a lot. We were competitive. We looked like a team that was very threatening to make the playoffs. And we made a great push there in the mid-season towards the end, and then at the very end, we really kind of slowed down because we were kind of hindered by the formation.
Right.
And just we were very inconsistent, I think, at times, especially late in the year when I mean, hell, we beat Portsmouth and we tied Notts County in competitive matches. Then we'd lose to teams at,
Yep.
like
Yep.
Hartlepool and, just teams at the bottom that had no business beating us, and they just would come out and play counterattack against us, and we'd just make two mistakes and we'd lose 2-0, and it's just frustrating for Ted, but all in all, I'm pretty pleased with it. What could have been, 11th's respectable, but we could have been a lot closer if we just could have finished off a couple matches here and there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not too happy. Taking a quick look here. Here's what the board is set for next season. So, as you know, guys, I'm not allowed to touch the slider. Whatever it is, we're getting 600,000 budget, and we've got an extra surplus of 2,800 roughly.
Wow.
So we could still sign Day with this, because
Yeah.
he's only going to want an additional like 1,400. But we have to think long term, I think, with Newport County, because the objectives are the same as last season. So we're going to up the primary objective to see if we can get in the playoffs. So we're going to try to get some more transfer budget in and maybe look to sign some more players, midfield especially. And we're probably going to be looking to mostly sell, I think, in this window. Try to get rid of some of these older players, I think, would be beneficial. Try to rebuild the youth of this squad, and hopefully not fall backwards in doing so. But, yeah, that is the allocation as it stands. Objectives are the same. Yeah, good season, but I think we'll wrap this up here. My final thoughts is I'd like to thank everyone that's watched me play all these matches live on Twitch or watch my highlights on YouTube. I mean, I stream every match live. I don't see a lot of YouTubers do that. I just do it for your guys' benefit, so you can come in and watch at your time, watch a full match, and then give you the highlights later if you missed it. So just remember, we are Ted's now grown to a 2 stars, so that opens up opportunities for any tournaments we enter at the beginning of the year. If we do get a preseason tournament invite, it has to be 2 stars or lower. And we also probably going to look to add another scout just to kind of broaden our scouting horizons. Or just a regular scout, no youth scouts yet. Day is going to be the question. I think for Day, we're not going to re-sign him now, but if we're going to see in the summer what offer is going to come our way, because I think we're going to get a lot of offers.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have to look for the right offer for him. And I'm just curious to see what other offers we're going to get for players. Maybe try to sell some of our older players if possible. But really looking forward to the squad as it shapes up for season 2. As far as the schedules for season 2 goes, I think we might try to get a few matches in here as we wrap up March and into April, but I will be moving house here at the end of April, so there might be a little bit of a delay for towards the end of April there, where I won't be able to get matches in until May when I'm settled into my new place. But in the meantime, you can go watch Matt10 stuff. Watch him try to succeed over there at QPR. He's actually in the fight right now for getting promoted. He's hanging on the top half of the table.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit of a struggle
playing around.
He's playing around with he's got injury galore over there now. He's
I
like you
know.
said, his depth is starting to get tested. He's
Oof.
got his boy Ball there trying to save the day for him.
61 overall, by the way, David Ball. Just saying, and he's killing it.
Yeah. Harrison's 62, so
Yeah.
deal with that. But yeah, I would say signing the season was us Dembe. I don't know if we sold anybody really. We just had a lot of loan players come and go. Obviously, our highest player that we got rid of was Taylor, with his contract expiring. I don't see him coming back. We may try to get Jones back since we have a little money now, unless somebody snagged him up. But I'm gonna end it here. I believe. I'd like to thank Matt and everybody that's watching. If you got any more questions, feel free to ask. I'm here to answer all your questions about all these little rules I have in place for this Manager Mode series. And I encourage everybody to participate in the live streams. And I'll give you a shout out and check out, and hopefully you come back for a great FIFA gameplay the way it was meant to be played. That is my goal with this series. This is that way I'd like to see FIFA played, not just end-to-end goals, just quick little goals. I want to give you good gameplay as well. And as part of the Sim Snob community, myself and Matt and all the others that spent hours and hours at Operation Sports messing with these sliders, this is what the game could be like. So, again, I'd like to thank Matt10 for stopping by in his busy moment. I didn't hear the baby cry once, so that's always good.
Good.
So stay tuned for the next episode as we start the second season with Ted Lasso. I'm looking forward to it, as I hope all of you are. So, any last words before we sign off here, Matt?
Man, just can't wait for season 2. Really, really excited. I think like you said, you played this season fairly quick, and it was, it was pretty. I knew you were having fun then, because I'm definitely a part of the reason why season 1 didn't go as great, but that's okay. No testing, no needed. So now you're just focusing on the depth of your career mode, and I think from the beginning we always look to just play our career modes. Like if FIFA 16 or any FIFA was great out of the box, we would be all in career mode the whole time, So
like we 15.
Instead, we were busy, trying to fix the game, and so I think collectively, it's in a good spot that a lot of guys have started their career modes, and I've been waiting for Reapers here to get going. And I love the persona of Ted Lasso because Reaper knows a lot more about football than the real life Ted Lasso or the fictional Ted Lasso does.
I try to. I'm just as animated, I would say that.
I was going to say that. He's a lot more animated, which is really, I think that's what you mentioned when what's different than any other channel out there is that you're animated, but you're not over the top rage, and we don't expect any selling out by Reaper as a result, and sticking to gameplay mods, realistic, football, footy, if you will. It's that's what appeals the most. So I always enjoy it. I love to catch those streams when I can. So keep on keeping on.
Just here's a quick look at the Euros since the group stage was completed after the season completed. Germany's through. Yeah. They're playing Israel in the quarterfinals, so that was an interesting matchup. They beat them. And we've got Poland and England facing off in the quarters. We've got Belgium, Austria, and I believe Romania and Italy. So very, very unique group stage table. We could take a look at the group tables very quick once we jump over here. But I'll try to keep you guys informed of the Euros as we get ready to do into our preseason here. Keep you guys up to date on that stuff. So you see Germany and Austria got through a Group A. France, probably the big surprise, getting knocked out of that group, I would say. Would you agree, Matt?
Yeah, definitely. That's crazy.
And Group B.
Germany, Austria, France.
Yeah.
Well, France losing is just, man.
Yeah, France is probably favored to win that group. All right, Group B, Belgium won that one. Just barely, though, as Israel got 2 wins and actually pipped Portugal. So Cristiano Ronaldo is out.
It's crying a river
of the Euros. So I think this group got a lot of the groups had a lot of surprise people that didn't get through here to the next round. Yeah, France, Portugal ones. Here we look at Group C. Poland and Italy go through. Turkey and Spain. Oh, another. Spain did not get a win in the group. They're out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, just signs of the team winding down. Wow, just crazy stuff. And I believe the final group will be Group D, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it should be. And you see Romania won Group D over England. And the Dutch and Swedes are out. So I would say that was probably the toughest group there. And Romania managed to take the group. So very interesting Euro knockout rounds now. I'd obviously give the favor to Germany since they're defending World Cup champions. They'll probably go through.
Wow.
But other than that, I don't know who else. I would like to see probably Germany, Belgium. Probably
This would be
in
a
the
fun
finals.
real life setup just to
Mhm.
watch. All these crazy teams.
And can England make it out of the quarterfinals?
Oof.
Poland, that's not going to be easy. That's going to be a tough matchup. But they,
Mm-hmm.
unless they go to penalties, then maybe they probably won't. I kind of like Belgium on the other side. I mean, Italy's Italy. I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
may still make a good run, but
Yes.
I would be worried about Belgium. They've got a lot of quality players. But yeah, I would say the biggest surprise was Israel getting through in the group out of the group stage.
Mm-hmm.
Pipped Portugal. So that could be a nice road to the cup for Germany. They won 3-0 already. So that's your Euro update. I will keep you guys updated on that. As far as if you guys have any suggestions or anything like that, feel free to comment on my videos, or if in the live stream, I'll try to get to them as I go. If you guys are on the PC and you want to know what mods I'm using, I post links to all the mods I currently am using for this manager mode. Obviously, the big ones are going to be Fidel's gameplay mod and the Modding Way mod. Those are two. I'd say the Modding Way mod's a must-have for the immersion of your manager mode series.
No doubt.
And the Fidel's gameplay mod, if you want, FIFA to not be so vanilla, I would go for that because it definitely makes the gameplay a lot more exciting. And then I've got the grass mod as well, Jeet's grass mod, which is fantastic little mod. It was really well
It's
done.
the little things about that mod that are nice. Yep.
Like especially at the end of the year where my turf was just tore up in the middle and the goalkeeper. So like, wow, that's kind of
Gotta
crazy.
love it. Yep.
And what else do I got? And I've got a
TV
logo.
logos.
Yeah, I got the logo changer for when you see the different. Got my Sky Sports logo up there for when you guys see my competitions. But yeah, season 2, I think it's time, Ted Lasso, since we were a threat for the playoffs. I think it's only realistic if we try to shoot for the playoffs this season. I wasn't sure with when we had the squad earlier with all the lone players at the start of the season. It really wasn't looking like we were going to be more than a mid-table side. But then once January came around, we started getting on a roll. But then we kind of up and down there, just kind of flirting with that playoff spot. We were in the spots for a while, but then we were out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. I realized we've been on over an hour, so... Oh, man, guys, I hope you enjoyed the stream. We'll try to keep it short and sweet next time. But just another quick update. I'm probably going to stick to now doing 2 matches an episode instead of 3 because of the length of the videos. They're starting to get a little bit longer when I do 3. Sometimes they may be 3 if I don't have a lot of action going on, but just expect for the future for me to do 2 matches, unless I'm in like a competition like preseason tournaments where I have 3 group stage matches. I might knock them out quickly. But looking forward to season 2, as I hope all you guys are. So again, thanks Matt for coming. Thanks for everybody in the chat that stopped by, and thank you for your questions. I hope I got those all answered. So I'm going to wrap this up by saying, until next time, I'm ICU31, and I'll see you around.